The first update we have today is this public exchange that's been happening between Lisa Vanderpump and Scheana.
Right.
Okay, so let's unpack Scheana's side first. She's made some pretty direct accusations with her new book, My Good Side, and she also did an interview recently. She's basically claiming Lisa, quote, low-key used her real-life pain to launch her TV empire. That's a big claim.
Mm-hmm. A very big claim.
And she gives a specific example, right? That 2013 episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, RHOBH. She says Lisa pretended she didn't know about Scheana's affair back in 2006 with Eddie Cibrian, when Lisa introduced Scheana to Brandi Glanville, Eddie's ex-wife, on camera.
Scheana then adds that Lisa gaslit her about that whole thing for a decade, made her doubt her own memory, essentially. That really brings to life the tension she's describing.
Yeah, and that quote she uses, doesn't make mistakes. She makes moves and then calls them coincidences. That depicts a very calculated image of Lisa.
Exactly. It paints Lisa as someone always playing chess, not checkers.
So it feels like it's not just about that one past event, but how it echoes through their relationship now, the power dynamics. Scheana also mentioned things changed when she, stopped doing what Lisa wanted.
Apparently so. She reportedly mentioned their relationship shifted when Scheana stopped following her orders, specifically refusing to defend James Kennedy after he body shamed Katie Maloney.
Okay, so a lot coming from Scheana. How did Lisa Vanderpump take all this? Did she, respond directly to these specific points?
Well, Lisa's public reaction was pretty blunt. She basically said she was unbothered, declared, and this is a direct quote, I don't care what she says.
Unbothered. Okay.
Yeah, and it feels like more than just saying she doesn't care. It's arguably a strategy, right? A way to deflect, to reframe the whole thing as insignificant. She even emphasized she was focused on important things and then brought up Ozzy Osbourne dying today, contrasting it with her bullshit, Scheana's, that is.
Wow. Using Ozzy's death announcement as a way to dismiss it, that's quite a tactic, a strong deflection.
It certainly grabs attention and attempts to shift the focus and minimize Scheana's claims. A classic move, perhaps, in managing public perception.
But wait, hadn't Lisa already commented on Scheana mentioning her in the book, even before this latest round? I feel like this tension was already simmering.
You're absolutely right. A few months back, Lisa had made a public statement. She accused Scheana of bringing her up in the book, quote, probably just to sell the book because she hasn't got anything else to say.
Ah, okay. So that earlier comment clarifies things a bit. It shows this wasn't out of the blue.
Exactly.
Okay, next we are going to talk about Gia Giudice's reflections on Next Gen NYC. So we have a fascinating update regarding Gia Giudice. She recently suggested that Season 1 of Next Gen NYC wasn't really the best reflection of who I truly am and how I treat my friends. This really sets the scene for, the often unseen challenges of reality TV.
Yeah, what's really insightful here is Gia's candor about her portrayal. She specifically talked about that on-screen argument with Riley Burruss, Kandi Burruss's daughter. Gia kind of insinuated Riley was being harsh for calling Georgia McCann's bowling alley/club idea a terrible idea.
Right.
And the reports clarify that Riley eventually left the scene in tears, which really depicts a fracture in their friendship, even though they were already friends.
And here's where it gets interesting. Gia talked about this on her own podcast, Casual Chaos. She mentioned how much her facial expressions could be read even when she wasn't saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
And she firmly stated that the season didn't capture her true self, like in the workplace or how she actually is with her friends.
Gia admitted she was, quote, never trying to make Riley feel less than herself. And interestingly, believed Riley's opinion was 100% correct.
She said her actions came from a protective place, not wanting Riley to look rude on camera, and that she never likes to see my friends upset.
But then she had this aha moment. She admitted, I went about things the wrong way.
Right.
She shared that she needs to kind of realize it's not my place, and she should just let situations play out how they're supposed to play out. She even quoted Ariana Bierman telling her, Gia, just shut the F up sometimes.
Wow.
And she agreed. She admitted she was definitely a little harsh towards Riley and Georgia at that dinner in Atlantic City.
Gia mentioned she was already close with Brooks and Ariana Bierman, but her friendship with Riley, that actually developed during filming.
A lot of the cast were strangers to her initially. She said the first few episodes were just everyone just getting used to each other and feeling it out and getting comfortable. So as the season goes on, she says, you'll see people get more comfortable. Just underscores how those first interactions can easily be misread, even by the people involved, because the relationships are still so new.
Moving on, let's talk Kyle Richards. She's busy filming season 15 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, And she reacted to Denise Richards' divorce, shared some details about where things stand with Dorit Kemsley, and teased a clash coming up.
Yet this whole situation with Denise, it's just a stark illustration of the personal toll public life can take. Her husband, Aaron Phypers, filed for divorce July 7th. Denise has talked about alleged abuse. Photos of injuries came out. It led to a temporary restraining order.
It's heavy stuff.
It really is. And Kyle's reaction, she shared it during an Amazon Live session. It was just pure empathy. She said, so sad. It's so sad. Really upsetting. Really sad. And I just feel terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible for her. I hate hearing that.
You can really feel it. And speaking of relationships, someone asked her about Dorit. Kyle said they're in a better place, but it's rebuilding.
Rebuilding, yeah.
She noted there was some damage done last year, and that it doesn't mean we don't have our moments still. It just perfectly depicts how mending friendships is an ongoing process, right? Especially under that kind of spotlight.
Absolutely. And it makes you think about the longevity of these cast dynamics, how they evolve. So regarding the RHOBH trip to Arizona, Kyle said it was good, even very good, but also exhausting and stressful. After 15 years, the stress wasn't a shock, but she said the long hours were crazy. She summed it up. Exhausting, stressful, and eye-opening. But then added it was successful as far as TV goes.
So what about the new cast members? Kyle weighed in on Rachel Zoe joining, said she's great, fun, and pretty and stylish, and she's really enjoyed having her join. But then, regarding how the newbies are fitting in, she teased, it's getting interesting.
Uh-oh. Yeah, what's fascinating there is that natural friction you get with strong personalities.
Right.
Kyle mentioned a little clash, which she said is to be suspected.
Right.
She explained, not everybody gets along, and there are some very strong personalities. Some people just rub people the wrong way. She even admitted sometimes it's upsetting and sometimes, well, kind of entertaining, which really illuminates the inherent drama baked into the show's formula.
Let's shift to Orange County. Alexis Bellino reacted to that recent drama between Katie Ginella and Sonia Bador on The Real Housewives of Orange County. This whole thing, it really clarifies the complexities of loyalty and, public perception.
That's right. Alexis talked about this on the Reality with the King podcast, July 18th. It was after the news broke that Katie, who's 41, recorded Sonia, 61, during a meltdown, without her knowing.
Yeah, that was big news.
Huge. And Alexis, who's 48, clarified she wasn't the one who told Tamra Judge. Apparently, Katie herself told Tamra, and then Tamra asked Alexis if she'd heard the recording. Alexis confirmed she had, during a lunch with Jennifer Petranti.
So what was Katie's side of it, according to Alexis? Alexis felt bad for her, insisted Katie was not doing anything malicious, didn't have any ill will. She said Katie recorded Sonia basically to explain to her husband, Matt Ginella, why she had to abruptly hang up a business call. Because Sonia apparently came in all ballistic and crazy, yelling about, fucking Alexis Bellino and filming, and why is she here?
Wow.
Alexis described hearing the whole thing, Sonia going whack-a-doodle job, and specified it was audio, not video.
Okay, that's an important detail. But this raises that question about accountability, doesn't it? Alexis felt Sonia shouldn't be upset, but should, take accountability for your own actions and learn from your behavior if you're going to be a psychotic person and someone has it on the phone.
That's a perspective. Shifting the blame.
It definitely shifts the focus.
Yeah.
But Alexis also signaled Katie isn't entirely blameless in the backlash. She called Katie kind, but suspects the show ate her alive.
How so?
Well, the two things. One, Katie apparently hasn't owned up to the truth when the things happen, but then she owns up later, which causes confusion, raises red flags.
Hey.
And two, Katie freezes up as a housewife, so she can't really get her side of the story. Her plot's out.
Interesting.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, Alexis thinks Katie was trying to juggle two separate worlds, private life and TV life, which Alexis says is a mistake on reality TV because the truth's going to come out. She says it all becomes one, and you can't do cover-ups. You can't lie.
So where do Alexis and Katie stand now? They were very, very tight around the time this recording happened, but Alexis confirmed they're a little more distant now. They kind of lost touch a little bit ago. And Alexis is off RHOC this season.
Right. And what's fascinating is how these public spats affect private friendships. Alexis heard from other housewives that it's a rough season for her, for Katie, and she hopes she's okay. It just evokes those behind-the-scenes ripple effects,
Yeah, totally.
Oh, and one last thing on this. Alexis reacted to Sonia worrying about the clip being used in court in John Jansen's lawsuit against her. Alexis basically dismissed it as a stupid comment, said it makes no sense, and wouldn't have helped us in a court case because they needed emails and other proof.
Got it. Okay, next update we have about Guerdy Abraira addressing Julia Lemigova's texts. Let's jump to Miami. Guerdy Abraira reflected on her decision to show Julia Lemigova's texts at her Celebration of Life party. She talked about regrets, or lack thereof, and even called out Larsa Pippen and Lisa Hochstein.
Yeah, this was interesting. On Watch What Happens Live, July 23rd, Guerdy was pretty candid. She admitted exposing Julia's texts was, quote, a little bit of both, messy and justified.
A bit of both.
She explained her party had two parts. The first was for family, her testimony. The after party, though, that's when she felt it was the right time to release what no longer serves me. Said the decision was ultimately about her. She also mentioned viewers didn't see the full thing. There was a lot of context missing.
Okay, but what really seemed to bother her was a perceived double standard.
Exactly. She pointed out the cast gave her more heat for the text drama than they gave Julia when Julia threw water on her before. Guerdy felt there was complete silence and admiration for Julia then, but suddenly people are passionate and have emotions at her party. She wished that same energy would have been had at the wedding chaos.
So is she holding a grudge about the water?
She denies it's a grudge. Instead, she points to a pact she made with Julia not to share stuff with the group again. A pact she says Julia broke once, twice, 3 times by revealing details and playing the victim at Alexia Echeverria's party. She said Julia apologized for the water, yeah, but she didn't apologize for the lies that she told about the cruise, about the Zoom.
So this brings us to Guerdy 2.0, right? When Stephanie Shojay called her a grudge holder, Guerdy pushed back. Says she tried moving forward multiple times, but eventually, someone's going to play in your face and disrespect you. You have to set these boundaries. And declared, this Guerdy 2.0 is not taking any mess from anyone anymore.
A line in the sand. And connecting this to the bigger picture, Guerdy also hinted at another double standard, this time between Larsa Pippen and Lisa Hochstein, about Larsa wanting Lisa to unfollow Marcus Jordan.
Oh.
Guerdy said she'll let Lisa answer that at the reunion, but suggested the question is completely qualified and kind of threw shade, asking if Larsa was still talking to Kanye West after their breakup with Kim Kardashian.
Ooh, reunion teasers. And before we move on from Guerdy, she announced her book From Trauma to Trophies. Pre-order now. Hardcover November 2025. Also explained the bald head post-remission. I get hot flashes every 20 minutes. Plus her husband Russell loves it.
Good for her. And what's really fascinating is how she described her evolved friendship with Larsa after season 6. Guerdy made a proactive decision to basically classify this relationship. Decided Larsa is her good time girl.
Interesting approach.
Yeah, she explained. Long conversation, deep conversation. We're going to curb that, and we're just going to stick to the fun, and that's okay. It depicts a really strategic, almost compartmentalized way of managing these complex relationships in the public eye, choosing her piece.
Definitely a strategy. Okay, next update we have about Michelle Saniei and Aaron Nosler splitting up. Let's shift to the Valley. News broke that Michelle Saniei and Aaron Nosler have split after about a year of dating. This illustrates those challenges of relationships under the reality TV microscope.
That's right. Michelle, who's 36, kind of sparked the rumors herself earlier this week, unfollowed Aaron, scrubbed his pictures from her Instagram. Pretty standard signs these days. Now, insiders confirm the split. And apparently Michelle is in the process of moving out of Aaron's place, just ahead of filming for The Valley Season 3.
So what's next for Michelle? A source said she's just focusing on her daughter, who's 5, her work, and taking care of herself as she navigates this new chapter. Sounds like she's prioritizing herself.
Which makes sense. And this whole thing raises that question about the scrutiny on new relationships in this environment, right?
Yeah.
All through season 2, their romance, and especially when it really started, was questioned.
Yeah, because of the overlap suspicion with her marriage to Jesse Lally.
Exactly. Whom she split from early 2024. Michelle always maintained things with Aaron were purely platonic until after she and Jesse broke up.
And here's what's really interesting looking back. Just before season 2, Michelle was gushing about Aaron, calling him somebody very supportive, saying she was super excited to show the new chapter of my life and my boyfriend Aaron. She felt she'd show the real me and how happy I am. Aaron also said he tried to help and bring a positive light into it. It just evokes those really hopeful beginnings that we often see before things unravel publicly.
Yeah, and if you zoom out, it's even starker. Just months ago, Michelle was on Watch What Happens Live talking about potentially marrying Aaron. Said, I definitely can see that happening. They were very compatible, rarely fight. He was amazing with Isabella. It just demonstrates how unpredictable relationships can be, especially perhaps when they play out on TV.
For sure. Okay, next update we have about Briana Culberson slamming pathetic marriage rumors. Let's stick with RHOC adjacent news. Briana Culberson, Vicky Dunvalson's daughter, recently hit back hard against rumors about her marriage to Ryan Culberson. She called them downright pathetic and confirmed she's gotten lawyers involved.
Yeah, this really demonstrates the challenges of privacy today, doesn't it? Especially for people even peripherally connected to the public eye. Briana, who's 38, went on Instagram July 22nd and stated flat out that stories circulating online about her and Ryan, including divorce claims, are completely, blatantly false.
And here's where it gets really interesting. She's actually hired legal counsel trying to stop this made-up content, get it removed. She said it's not only defamatory, but also in violation of California criminal law.
Wow. Taking legal action.
Yes. And she suspects the stories are AI-generated and pushed out by accounts overseas.
AI-generated. That raises a whole other layer of questions about misinformation, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And Briana even added some humor in her caption, saying it must have been a slow gossip week to go after a super-duper boring daughter of a housewife who hasn't been on TV for 9 years. She asked followers to report the fake posts. It really underscores the need for, media literacy and maybe even legal frameworks for this AI stuff. They married back in 2011, have 4 kids.
Right. Finally, let's unpack a pretty fiery exchange. Todd Chrisley versus Patricia Altschul from Southern Charm. Todd recently went off on Patricia for comments she made about his upcoming move to Charleston.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is just how strong Todd's reaction was. This was on the July 23rd episode of his and Julie's podcast, Chrisley Confessions 2.0. Patricia, who's 84, had commented, "There goes the neighborhood," on a news story about the Chrisleys moving to Charleston for their new reality show.
Ouch. There goes the neighborhood.
Pretty pointed. Todd, who's 56, admitted he was a little shocking by it, especially because he'd always held her in high regard, thought she was a classy lady. And he noted Patricia should know that we are born and raised in South Carolina.
Felt personal, like she should know better.
Exactly. And this really raises the question about the line between, say, shady commentary and a direct personal attack. Because Todd didn't hold back.
No, he didn't.
He called Patricia old, accused her of marrying for money, even suggesting she's getting ready for death, claimed she'd already transferred her assets over to her son, Whitney Sudler Smith.
Wow. That's intense. He went even further, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Implied her wealth came entirely from marriage. A younger woman marries an older man and he dies. She gets the money. He even joked about becoming her walker or marrying someone like her to take her money, and just illustrates the sheer depth of his irritation. He was clearly very angry.
Yeah, you can say that again.
And connecting this to the bigger picture really highlights how personal and financial these public feuds can get. Patricia's past husbands, Edward Stitt Fleming, died in 1997, Arthur G. Altschul in 2002. But despite Patricia's comment, Todd insisted most people have been supportive of their move to Charleston. Said they had not one negative reaction, lots of prayer warriors, especially after getting that presidential pardon last month.
Right, the pardon. Wow, what a deep dive today. From personal reflections and relationship shifts, like with Kyle and Dorit, to these really intense public exchanges and legal battles. It's clear life under the reality TV lens is, well, never simple.
Not at all. We've seen how narratives get shaped,